I'm Taylor Langston. An overtime victory in the final home game guarantees the ACU football team another winning season.
And I'm Grant Boone. Now the Wildcats try to avoid a cardinal sin at Incarnate Word tonight. It's the Ken Collums Show right now. Welcome into Studio P4X for the season finale of the Ken Collums Show, along with the coach, Ken Collums, and ACU senior Taylor Langston. I'm Grant Boone. Coach, last Saturday night at Shotwell, 22-16 overtime win over previously 7-2 West Alabama. Given the quality of the opponent, was that the best win of the season?
I think it was the best win of the season because it was the most recent win of the season.
There you go.
And we're on that track. We're trying to finish this thing out with 3 wins. But a good win, to beat a team like that, who is a legitimate quality team. You look across the board, whether we were game planning for them or watching on Saturday from the sideline, they had athletes. They had guys that could run and hit and throw and catch, and our guys rose to the occasion. And we did play with passion. That's one thing I asked before the game, and they delivered. And when our guys play like they're supposed to, play with that extra element of passion, I feel like we can play with and possibly beat anybody in Division II. So I was fired up about the win. I know our guys were. I know Rex was. It was a big day for him out there, and so everybody was fired up.
Well, assuming that all goes well tonight, this will be the 7th season in a row that your team will finish with at least 7 wins. How important is it for you guys to come out tonight and execute well?
Well, that's the bottom line. The bottom line is not who we're playing, it's how we are playing. And we just happen to be playing Incarnate Word in San Antonio. And, people can say, oh, this is a great segue into the, next season and all that. But all of that really doesn't matter. If we play well and protect the ball and play really clean, able to run the ball a little bit, like we've said for weeks in here, then we should do fine tonight.
All right. We'll look at that game a little bit later on in the show. But when we come back, we'll look back at the 22-16 victory over West Alabama last Saturday night at Shotwell. Stay with us. It's the Ken Collums Show. Welcome back to the Ken Collums Show. ACU went overtime to earn its 6th victory of the season last Saturday night at Shotwell Stadium, 22-16 over West Alabama. And with the highlights, here's Taylor.
Senior day started with the youngest captain on the field getting things going with the flip of a coin and coaching him up on the sidelines. Cantu Harkless for a few of his 288 total yards on the connection from Mitchell Gale. Taylor Gabriel takes the reverse and picks up a few yards before the Wildcats take a 3-0 lead. From there, Justin Stewart roughs up the West Alabama wideouts before senior LB Suggs makes his mark on the game with another big play, forcing a Tigers fumble. Then Cantu Harkless breaks off another big run, juking out a few defenders before making his way into the red zone. Taylor Gabriel went out in the middle and showed his toughness holding on to the ball despite a vicious hit. The land shark, Charkandrick West, finds the end zone and gives the Cats a 10-point lead. The Wildcat defense flew around the entire first half, pitching a shutout behind sound tackling and a few big hits by Angel Lopez on the sidelines. Mike Wallace in the middle of the field bringing the hammer down on West Alabama. ACU got the ball back and immediately got Pigskin to the player of the game for another first down. Mitchell Gale flips a pass into the Abilene wind, and DeMarcus Thompson secures the catch and looks like he's going to take it to the house, but a costly scramble cuts his big play short. Gale scrambles around looking for a man and finds who else? Cantu Harkless. He explodes into Tiger territory yet again before finally being taken down. After recess, the Cats head back out onto the field with a 10-point lead and a ton of confidence. The Wildcat D gives up some yards but makes some key tackles and forces a 4th down. When West Alabama calls a fake, the Tigers try to run the option with their holder and kicker, but the Cats sniff it out, and Angel Lopez and Stephen Ford combine for a huge stop on a 4th down. Gale gets the ball ball back and finds Darian Hogg for a first down, and then Taylor Gabriel gets back into Tiger territory. Daryl Cantu Harkless gets the Cats close enough to tack on 3 more with a field goal and bring the lead to 13 points. That's when the Tigers offense woke up from their slumber. West Alabama marching down the field with a series of passes before an option gets them their first and goal. Then the Tigers put the ball on the turf, and even though Thor Warner was the first one to the football, he couldn't hold on at the bottom of the pile. West Alabama dodging a bullet there. After their stroke of luck, West Alabama finds the end zone with a short passing score to get on the board. ACU would answer with points of their own and put West Alabama down by 9. This time the Tigers wasting no time getting into scoring territory, slipping past a few tackles before West Alabama sneaks past the Wildcat secondary, and the play was ruled a touchdown. After another Tiger field goal, the Wildcats' lead has evaporated in the West Texas heat. In overtime, Charkandrick West will take the handoff a few yards before Daryl Cantu Harkless catches a pass out of the backfield. He makes one cut to juke out several players on his way into an overtime touchdown that put the Tigers on life support. Cats play sound defense with a couple of good tackles to force a 4th down that could finish off West Alabama. That's when Stephen Ford swats away the first down opportunity, and the celebration is on. Wildcats have their signature win of the season.
It's ACU 22.
I really didn't want to go into a second overtime. Our defense steps up when the time comes, 4th down, big plays, and everybody fit right on the play. The ball just happened to come to me, and I made the plays.
5 linemen blocking, tight ends, other receivers getting routes, getting other people open, and Mitch putting it in the right place, and that's what we needed to do today.
All right, Coach, 22-16. Let's first things first here. You had some help with the play calling with Rex Fleming. That was a pretty cool moment.
We finally got the right play caller and spot, and we didn't throw and catch his play, but I tell you this, Rex Fleming called our first play. We let him have a major impact at the first of the game. In the pregame, he ran the pregame whistle.
Yeah.
So when we were transitioning from pass 7-on-7 to offense and defense and field goal and punt, he was tooting on that whistle. So he gave us a pregame speech,
yes,
which was pretty cool, and then flipped the coin and called the first play. However, the anticipation for the very first play was more than we could bear, so we jumped off sides, and so on 1st and 15 we called a different play. But we did come back. The next good chance we had to run Rex's play, I told him, hey, this is your gig here.
Well, we'll hear more about that story of Rex Fleming, which has been inspirational to all of us. His folks, Lance and Joe, of course, Lance, my radio partner in the SID here at ACU. Taylor will have a great feature on Rex a little bit later on in the Ken Collums Show. Coach, just as I look at this game, 22-16, you get the double-digit lead. They rally to force overtime. You find a way to fight through. In some ways, I think you could make a case this is kind of a snapshot of your entire season, just finding a way to fight through with a whole lot of things you wish weren't there, but you just fight through it. Is that fair?
Right. If you took this game and you took the Midwestern game and put them together, it's because some of our season has ended like the Midwest at the end of the Midwestern game, a good hard-fought game, but we don't get it done. Then you look at this game, and we got up on them, and we was 10-0 at halftime, and it really should have been about 24-0 at half. I was really disappointed offensively how we did not finish drives. Sometimes it was a protection, sometimes it was just a missed throw. But we knew this. We knew West Alabama was going to come back because they had legitimate players, and they can run the ball. They were averaging over 500 yards a game, over 50 points a game. So the scary thing is when you don't handle your business in the red zone, you kind of know, you kind of have a feeling, all right, they're going to come back. We just got to be able to be in a good spot to defend ourselves. But we did. We ended up making enough plays there at the end of the game. And it was an awesome win. It really was. When Harkless took the screen and stuck his left foot in the ground, that's his classic patented move. He gets you going to his left, and then bam, he sticks it right up the field on you. And a lot of times nobody touched him, and they didn't on that play either.
You know, thinking about that play, that will go down as the last pass Mitchell Gale will ever throw at Shotwell Stadium. And I just think what a great way to – and that's fitting, isn't it?
That's right. And You know, Mitchell and I have kind of kid each other about that because every time this year it would be, hey, this is your last time to do, last time for a second game, last time for this, and yeah, that is fitting. That really is. That was a good ending. Yeah,
it was, and the guy he threw it to. I mean, Daryl Cantu Harkless. We've seen for 3 years how explosive he can be. Remember the very first game he played? That's right. Up at Washburn, back to open the season in 2010. Nearly 300 all-purpose yards, and as it's done a lot this season, special teams a huge factor for your team, both kickoff and punt returns.
Yeah, we've got some returners, and we always do here. We always have those little guys that can really make people miss an open field, whether it's Taylor or whether it's Daryl or even earlier in the season, you know, Cade Stone with a return kick for a touchdown. But Daryl, he's a really good player, and regardless of where you put him, if it's at receiver and you're running hitches or in cuts or down the field throws, or whether you're giving him the ball when there's no receivers out there, and we're in our big stuff like at Commerce, he's got a knack for football. He is a football player. He just happens to not be very big, so we can't just ride his back the whole time. You know, little guys like that tend to start breaking down. But I tell you this, we've got 3 hours with him.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of the season, and I think we're gonna get on his back a little bit.
Great win, 22-16 overtime win against West Alabama. When we come back, Taylor Langston, a very special feature about 10-year-old Rex Fleming. You won't want to miss it. And the Ken Collums Show returns after this.
Welcome back to the set here on the Ken Collums Show. Basketball season is finally upon us, and the volleyball team has made the conference tournament. With a closer look at other sports around campus, here's Matthew Sloan and Jimmy Isbell with the JMC Network Sportscast.
Welcome to the JMC Network Sportscast. I'm Jimmy Isbell.
And I'm Matthew Sloan.
The ACU volleyball team has clinched a berth to compete in their last Lone Star Conference Championship tournament. The Cats have overcome adversity with injuries and many young players, but they look to go out with a bang in the LSC tournament. The Cats play their last two regular season games against Cameron University in Lawton, Oklahoma, and Midwestern State in Wichita Falls.
The Wildcat basketball team will finally get the ball rolling this Saturday when they take on Dallas Baptist on the road. ACU will be sporting a four-guard look this season with Division I transfer Stephen Warner in the middle. Freshman phenom Parker Wentz is ready to get the season started with some of the most unselfish players he's ever played with.
It's really early on in the season. There's a lot of fine-tuning we can do. And I really like the fight that we had in our team. So
I'm sure there'll be some surprises. You try to take all those surprises out of it and work through everything this week that you might see.
The ACU women's basketball team comes into the Lone Star Conference with junior guard Mackenzie Langford to boot. A foot injury will leave the preseason player of the year in a boot for several weeks. Coach Julie Goodenough's Wildcats placed 7th in the preseason poll with 170 points and one first-place vote. The team starts off the 2012-2013 season in Moody Coliseum today against Texas A&M International at 7 o'clock.
You know, at the college level, your defense and finishing defensive possessions with a block out and a rebound are really, really important, and that's something that we're going to emphasize a lot the next couple of days.
Mitchell Gale has been the face of the ACU football team for the past 3 years. Now Gale seeks LSC glory as he competes with former Wildcat quarterback Billy Malone to break the 12,000-yard mark. Gale says that while the accomplishment would be good, the goal is to win the 7th game tonight.
To be in the same category as Billy Malone and whoever else is throwing for 12,000 yards, that'd be extremely humbling and honoring for me. But we still have a task we need to do for that to happen.
For the JMC Network Sportscast, I'm Matthew Sloan.
And I'm Jimmy Isbell. Thanks for watching.
While this year's football team has had its fair share of challenges, none has been greater than the one dealt to the Fleming family. We already mentioned Rex, the remarkable 10-year-old son of ACU Sports Information Director Lance Fleming. 2 years ago, Rex was diagnosed with brain cancer and has since been fighting for his life. Even though the current situation is more challenging than ever, Rex got a chance to inspire the Wildcats and even had a hand in the victory. Take a look.
First of all, this is my 15th year at ACU, and I've tried to get someone to let me call a play because I know it'll work.
He lets my 10-year-old son go out, call the coin flip, and call the first play of the game.
Hey, we're going Buffalo. All right, Buffalo. Buffalo left bag, H move, Fox.
You know, we've tried to just keep on living, just try to be as normal as possible, and he goes out and plays every night with his friends in the street, and plays video games and goes to school, and we've just kind of tried to keep things normal. He gets up, gets ready for school. He has some medicine he takes in the morning. He goes to school. He goes to his grandparents' house after school till we pick him up. He goes home. He plays with his friends out in the yard or in our house.
Rarely does he do his homework.
Yeah.
Keep a normal schedule and keep a normal life for him, not only for him and for us, but also for our other two, because it would be
They're
really,
going through it with us.
He knows that his tumor's back. He knows that it's serious, but he also knows he's taking some medicine for it now, and we're hoping that works. But he also knows that he could lose his life because of this.
Knowing that my son could die, that I could lose him, that he could die before I do, because parents aren't supposed to outlive their child. Having to talk to him, look at him, explain things to him that aren't fun. When his friends are going to school and he's got to go have a second brain surgery or do radiation. So that's been hard, but there's been a lot of good times and there's been lots of blessings, and he's handled it great, probably better than we have.
Something like this, you quickly figure out you can't let yourself curl up in the corner and just watch your son try to do this by himself. And that's one thing that we talked about early on in this process 2 years ago, is that we can't let him do this by himself, because he can't. We just said, look, we've got to get up, we've got to get going, we've got to get busy living, and we've got to help carry him through this. And ironically, when we did that, it wasn't us really leading him through it, it was him leading the rest of us through it. Life keeps going, and you either get in the boat and go with it, or you get out and stand on the side and watch it go by. And we've tried not to let it go by. He's lived a lot of life in the last 2 years, and I don't think that when this is over, I don't think we'll regret not having done stuff with him or not having spent this time with him.
We'll be right back here on the Ken Collums Show.
Back here on the Ken Collums Show, let's take a look at some of the scores from last week around the Lone Star Conference, and look at that score between Midwestern State and West Texas A&M. The Mustangs scored 2 touchdowns in the final 3 minutes. The second of those touchdowns on a botched punt by West Texas A&M. The ball was scooped up and scored by Midwestern State. They go on to defeat WT 52-48. And as we look at the standings in the Lone Star Conference, that means that Midwestern and WT, if the Buffaloes hang on and beat Commerce today, that means that Midwestern State and West Texas A&M will share the Lone Star Conference Championship for 2012. Coach, as we begin to look toward the game tonight, ACU at Incarnate Word, just thinking about your seniors, final game for them, and you start with the quarterback, number 15, Mitchell Gale. He has a chance tonight to become the all-time leading passer, not only in ACU history in terms of passing yards, but in the history of the Lone Star Conference. What would that mean? How important is that? And maybe bigger picture, what has he meant to this program?
Oh, gosh, it could not happen to a better guy. I don't know that I've coached a young man with a bigger heart than Mitchell Gale. And he understands relationships, leadership. He's a people guy. He's got enough about him to where he can kick his teammates in the tail and pick them up and love on them and encourage them. And
you have to have both, don't you?
That's right. If a real true leadership is both. It's not all the time good, and it's not being the hammer all the time. And he's learned that. He is an absolutely wonderful person. He is the face of our program. When you think of an ACU Wildcat right now, you think of Mitchell Gale, and because he gets everything that our program stands for. He gets the academic part, the football part, and the manhood part. Those are the three foundations of our program, and that is Mitchell Gale. So I sure hope we throw and catch tonight. We plan on it, and because I want him to get to 12,000 yards, and he and Billy Malone will be very nice there at the top of the history of the Lone Star Conference, which is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Well, he's about 300 yards shy of breaking that 12,000 mark. Something that's going to be a little bit challenging is health at this point. You know, your number one receiver, Taylor Gabriel, might be questionable for tonight's game. How are you going to sort of be filling that void?
Yeah, Taylor. We don't know if Taylor will play tonight. We sure hope so. But you know, when it's a young man's health, you don't try to push it too much. And he got hit in the head a little bit last week, so we may hold him out. It'll be a game time decision. And but you know what? There's more to this offense than Taylor Gabriel. He just happens to be a really good player and a playmaker wherever you put him, whether it's returns or at receiver. But we've got guys that are ready to step up, and I feel pretty good. And everybody wants to win this game and help Mitchell get to his spot, and it should be fun.
You talk about playmakers on the other side of the ball. L.B. Suggs plays his final game tonight. Very quiet guy in terms of keeping his opinions to himself vocally, but he lets his actions speak very loudly on the field. And as we go back to Incarnate Word tonight, I just think about one of the biggest hits that I've seen since I've been here at ACU calling games was down there on that field 2 years ago on your sideline.
That's right.
He blows up their tight end. The helmet comes off. The ball comes out. Eric Edwards scooped it up and ran it in. L.B. Suggs doesn't say a lot with words, but boy, does he speak volumes with his play.
That's right. And when you're watching guys like that, as an opposing coach, you're going, ooh, who is this guy? Why is he always around the ball? And, the main thing is L.B., he loves the game of football. Yeah. He studies it. He has a knack. He has his football instincts, and he plays extremely hard. He went through a situation this year where he broke his hand, and that kind of slowed him down a little bit, took a little bit of his aggressiveness away. But for the last month, he's back on track, and he's all over the place. And he plays with extreme passion. When they faked a field goal last game, West Alabama faked a field goal, and we got the stop. You would have, by watching him, you'd have thought we'd won the Super Bowl. I mean, he's going nuts, which is that's what makes him L.B. Suggs and makes him a quality player.
Well, it's been a great season for you guys in terms of fighting through adversity. Great job by you, Taylor, all season long on the Ken Collums Show, producing this program. Terrific job. It's been a pleasure to be here. We brought the couch in mid-season. Nice. You thought it was like we were psychiatrists, like after a couple of tough losses.
Yeah, that's right, and I was needing some of
that.
Yeah. That's good.
But it's been a great season. We appreciate, Coach, your cooperation. Not every coach is as accommodating as you are. We appreciate everything you do. And if you've enjoyed the Ken Collums Show at all this year, I hope that you'll watch as these names, the credits roll here in just a moment. You'll see the women and men who've put the Ken Collums Show on from here in Studio P4X on the campus of Abilene Christian. For Coach Collums, for Taylor Langston, I'm Grant Boone. Thanks for watching the Ken Collums Show all season long and today in our season finale. So long.